My 50 defense account is going to take on the hardest PVM challenge from 2005. That's right, Jad. Even today, the Fire Cape is a major milestone for many people. Well, what does it look like to do fight caves in 2025 in old school RuneScape? Let's find out on 416 Hero. But before we even step foot in the fight caves to fight Jad, we need to accomplish a few things to get there. First, we need higher range levels. Thankfully, while I was away at Fasani's Nightmare, I got my range levels up to 85. Second, higher HP levels is a plus 2. We're now at 87, thanks to Ammonite Crabs. However, Jad has a max hit of 97. So even still, one mistake and it's over. We're going to boost our range levels even higher. If you've been following the series for a while, you know I hunted some red chins. I said I would throw them when I had Void. I put that off for so long, but today's the day we are getting Void. While I'm going to be racking up the pest control points to get Void, I'm going to be on wait for it to hunt even more red chins. We're going to be using the middle boat here because we're not level 100 yet in combat. And to be honest, because of our 50 defense and 63 prayer, we're not going to be level 100 for quite some time. At this point in time, we're only going after the range Void set, so we're going to need just 850 points for the helmet and of course the top, bottom, and gloves. Thanks to us achieving medium combat achievements about a week ago, we get 2 bonus points per game, making it 6 points per game for us. So let's give a really quick rundown on pest control. So you come onto the island and you hop into these boats. There's a beginner, intermediate, and veteran boat. The veteran boat will net the most points, but you're going to need at least level 100 combat. Because I'm not a level 100 combat, I'm at the intermediate boat. You need to be at least level 40 to be in the beginner boat, and you need to be at least level 70 for the intermediate boat. Once you load into a game, you're going to run into the center here, and there's this Void Knight that you're supposed to protect. Now the best strategy is to close these gates and run to the portals and destroy the portals as soon as possible. Unfortunately, it looks like there's currently no one at this portal. Now each portal actually has a attack style weakness, and now I'm dead. But generally speaking, whatever attack style you choose to train is going to be good enough as long as you focus down the right things and there are enough people in the game. Occasionally, spinners will spawn, this highlighted mob right here, and those things will heal the portal. So if your team lacks DPS and the portals aren't going down, make sure to target those before you hit the portal. Now you can't just hit any portal, you have to pay attention to which portal has its shield down. So right now, the east one has a red box around it, meaning you're free to hit this one. I'm hitting the spinners right now so that they can't heal the portal, and now that they're gone, I hit the portal. Again, I just want to reiterate, please hit the spinners. There's an important distinction here. This game mode is safe for hardcores, but it is not safe for group hardcores. And one more thing, besides the void points that you actually get a little bit of GP per game. Not a crazy amount, but it's like a nice little bonus, you know? If you're playing pest control at the peak hours during the day, games should go by pretty quickly. I'm currently playing on a Sunday afternoon, so naturally there's a lot of people. And sometimes when there's a lot of people, there's going to be multiple pest control games going in at once. So if you hop into the boat and the game seems to have skipped you over, because there's actually a player cap per game, I think it's like 25 or 30, something like that. Don't worry, you're probably going to get into another game really quickly. As a side note, I swear once upon a time, pest control used to not give you any combat EXP for whatever reason. They must have changed this at some point, and honestly, this change is for the better. I never understood why you couldn't get combat EXP. Quick update on the red Chinchompa hunting situation. We're just about to get 300 in our inventory. I believe 416 Hero has about 2,000 sitting in his bank. Let's see how many red chins we can hunt during this pest control grind. We just passed 200 pest control points off of the last game, so we're a little under 25% of the way there. And we just hit 1,000 red chins hunted in this session. Pest control is a reflection of real life. When people enter a room that has a closed door, and when they leave, they don't close it. No fucking way! UIM Tebow! He called it earlier today. UIM gets a Tebow. This man is running out of excuses to do the Inferno. Or to not do the Inferno, rather. Anyways, final pest control game. Finally, we're going to reach 852 points, assuming we don't fail this game. Honestly, at this medium boat, games do fail semi-often. With our points, let's talk to the Void Knight. Scroll down in the reward shop, and we're going to get the Void Knight top for 250 points. We're going to get the robes and the gloves. And we got to be a little careful here. The helmet, but the range helmet. There we go. Collection logs. And let's put it on. Sheesh. He's in the way. Here we are. That took quite a bit of time, but we got it done. Over on Wait For It, we've been hunting red chins the entire pest control grind, and we ended up with just shy of 2,000 red chins. Obviously, I was not hunting them very efficiently. We're not going to waste too much time here, but just real quick, but a rather significant upgrade that we're going to give ourselves is the Amulet of Fury. So let's go ahead and make that real quick. We're going to want a Onyx Amulet Unstrung. Combine it with the Ball of Wool. We get an Onyx Amulet. And I'm on the wrong spellbook. Here we go, standard spellbook and enchant. There we go, an Amulet of Fury. Let's go ahead and put that in the group storage. Over on 416 Hero, let's grab it out of the storage and put this bad boy on. There we go. Off to the tunnels. Made our way to the tunnels. Here we are set up, throwing some red chins. We got about 4,400 chins to chuck. We'll see what level we get to. We're currently halfway through 85, so I think we're going to get to 86 for sure. Got some divine range pots with me, prayer pots, and just a little bit of food just in case. Okay, now we're really into it. We've got it set up. We're getting big EXP drops. I'm on the way over with Wait For It to drop some more supplies. We're going to need a little bit more food and some anti-poisons. Here we are. We made it on Wait For It. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to drop some Corwambons and the anti-venom potion and then TP out. Of course, we're using the new Royal Titan Prayer Scroll, Deadeye. Here comes supply drop number 2. Ooh, I missed the pop-up, but that was 86 range and 88 hit points. About 600 chins chucked so far. I think just about 1,000 red chins have been chucked so far. The EXP is flying. We're halfway to 87 range. 87 range, and we still got 2,500 chins to throw. We have about 1,800 red chins left. I think we're going to be able to get to 88 range, but we're not going to have enough chins to carry us to 89. So once I hit 88, I'm going to stop there, and then we move on. Just a couple more chins here, and we're going to hit 88 range. One more throw. And there it is, 88 range. We are out of here. After almost 3 hours. Oh, I'm not logged in on the other account. I can't TP out. That was a lot of skeletons. Okay, now we can TP out. We are now ready for the fight caves. 62 waves to get through, and then we meet Jad at 63. Now, as someone who has done countless Jads, on top of all the harder PVM grinds I've done, including Bulorva, Inferno, and the Quiver, I'm still kind of nervous for some reason. For one thing, we're 50 defense and 63 prayer. And I think the biggest reason is, this is something I'm supposed to do, no problem. But all it takes is one mistake. But before we head in, let me just show you my setup real quick. We're going to be rocking the full Eclipse set. We're going to have an Amulet of Fury, Barrow's Gloves, Snakeskin Boots, and our inventory looks like this. We're going to have the Divine Range Pot, a range pot, a whole bunch of super restores, one brew. Honestly, I probably won't need the brew, but like I said, I'm a little afraid for some reason, so I'm going to bring that just in case. And then we have 7 Corwambons. One small adjustment, I'm going to bring 1 stamina. There it is. It has been done with supplies left over as well. We didn't end up using the stamina pot, but that's okay. Our first big PVM achievement on this account. Feels good, man. It wasn't too bad, but 50 defense is definitely scary and makes everything a lot scarier. Well, it has been done. The pinnacle of PVM back in 2005, but done in old school RuneScape 2025. All these restores left over tells me that I probably could have just used my offensive prayers a bit more often. I was pretty conservative with that. But yeah, I'm not gonna lie, this was pretty nerve-wracking. I can only imagine what it's gonna be like when I hit the Inferno. And our first drop, Wait, is that what we need? That's what we need! First drop! Zulrah has been around for quite some time. Ironmen and normal accounts alike will farm this boss for its uniques and resource-heavy drop table. From RCBs and Ivan Blast, to the Twisted Bow and Tumikin's Shadow, you can farm Zulrah all the same. But what is the meta for the 2025 early to mid-game Ironman? Let's find out. Zulrah is located on Zolandra, accessible by Chartership, the Fairy Ring, and the Zolandra Teleport. The teleport scroll puts you right outside the boss. However, you can only get the teleport scrolls from the boss itself. And unless you can guarantee that you can do at least 3 kills per trip, those scrolls won't last. So our best option is the Fairy Ring. The only issue is, we're only 72 agility. But we could use Summer Pies, a +5 agility boost every time we run to Zulrah. A Summer Pie requires level 95 cooking to make, so this is where we call in Chef Wait For It. But it's not as simple as that. There is a multi-step process to make one singular Summer Pie. First, we need a bucket of water and a pot of flour to make pastry dough. Then put the pastry dough in the pie dish to make a pie shell. Once you have the pie shell, you then use a strawberry on the pie shell. And then you get part Summer Pie. After that, use a watermelon to put on the Summer Pie. And now you get a second edition of the part Summer Pie. But we're not done yet. Now you need a cooking apple to put into the pie dish. And now you finally have a raw Summer Pie. Now you swap over to the Lunar Spellbook so that you can cast Bake Pie. And there you go. Finally, after all those steps, you have one Summer Pie, a +5 agility boost. You know what? On second thought, I'm just going to train to 76 agility. And there's 73 agility. The last time we did agility, we came away with the graceful hood, top, and legs. Let's see if we can get enough marks of grace to unlock the remaining gloves, cape, and boots. Quick little update on Wait For It. We're going to be cooking some food here because that Royal Titans grind from a little while ago really drained a lot of my food. We're kind of on the recovery phase here on Wait For It in terms of the food and the blood runes and all the supplies. Just got some downtime right now, so I'm just barbarian fishing. I'll head back to the rooftop courses in a bit, but we just got an EXP lamp, and I've been consistently putting it into Slayer. This one should put us at 50 Slayer. There's 75 agility, one more level to go until we can hit the Fairy Ring for Zulrah. However, I'm going to finish this lap here, and I'm going to move on to Prif. I'm not a huge fan of this course, and while we won't get Marks of Grace at Prif, that'll be okay. We'll just finish out the full graceful set at another time. 93 laps at the Prif agility course, and we finally hit 76 agility. We can now use the Fairy Ring to Zulrah. I almost forgot about this, but over on Wait For It, I am currently making some Rings of Recoil. This is going to be really important to reflect damage onto the Snakelings at Zulrah. And of course, 416 here does not have access to Zenyte jewelry just yet, so I can't even trade over my Ring of Suffering if I wanted to. Alright, let's get started here. The Fairy Ring code is BJS. And the reason why we need 76 agility is because this Fairy Ring is on this small little island here, and you have to cross this stepping stone. And then we just make our way over here, and this is the little boat to get to Zulrah. Before we head in, let's talk about our gear setup real quick. We are going to be using the Amulet of Fury and the Barrow's Gloves for both attack styles. We have the Blue Moon outfit, but paired with the Twin Flame Staff and the Tome of Fire. We're going to be casting Fire Wave. We're going to see what the damage output on that is going to be like. Zulrah does have a fire elemental weakness. Of course, we got the God Cape as well, and the Ring of Recoils, like I mentioned earlier. For our range gear, we're going to be rocking full Eclipse so that we have the burn effect. And yeah, that's about it, really. All right, let's get started. I completely forgot, but if it's your first time here at Zulrah, you have to talk to the NPCs so that they'll let you, quote-unquote, sacrifice yourself to Zulrah. Okay, now we should be good to go. Yep. Let's drink our extended anti-venom plus. Oh, a max hit of 50. And we're only 82 magic. This divine range pot. Get ready for the mage phase. That will be coming up, I believe, after this. Alright, first time using the Eclipse set on Zulrah. Oh my. Zulrah's max hit is a 41, so you have to watch out for that. And of course, you could also get comboed out by the snakelings. You know what? I forgot to bring prayer pots. That's pretty important. Oh yeah, this thing is like 6 tick or something. Very awkward to flick, actually, 6 tick. I'm about to smite myself here. Please kill it. Ooh. Chanced. We chanced it for the first KC, but we get Zulrah scales. Guaranteed, of course. 1 KC, that's a collection log. Okay, that went pretty well, all things considered. This time we have our prayer pot, so it should go smoother. Zulrah in 2025, I should say. Got some Moon's gear, got the Twin Flame Staff, new prayers. We're using an anti-venom pot that it was just made available last year. Another KC down, let's go. A sub 2-minute kill. So this shouldn't be surprising at all, but I think being only 50 defense, we're getting clapped up pretty hard. I'm only doing 1 KC trips, as my inventory of food does not look too good. And can I use the Eclipse spec here? No, it appears that you need to be in melee range to use the spec. That's interesting. Yeah, I have no idea how the moon set special attacks work, actually. Teleport scrolls. And another new PB. I think we only beat our PB by 1 second there, but a new PB is a new PB. We will take it. While I'm farming Zulrah on 416 Hero, I'm actually making more house tabs over on Wait For It. I had actually stopped upkeeping these a while ago, but I realized that at Zulrah I'm going to need it because my rune pouch is going to be filled with runes for Firewave. So I don't actually know if the Zulrah items are on the list of restricted items to trade between GIM accounts that are non-prestiged, but nevertheless, we've made it to Zulrah on 416 Hero, and technically, I can trade myself over a dupe blowpipe. I don't feel like it's necessary for us to do that though, so we're going to go ahead and try to farm one out for ourselves. In before it takes us 2000 KC, but we'll see. Wow, that was a 3-minute and 15-second kill. I guess this comes with the territory since the Twin Flame Staff is a 6-tick weapon. There's going to be quite a bit of variation, I think. Let's talk a bit about what we're after here. Zulrah has 4 uniques on its drop table: the Tanzanite Fang for the blowpipe, Magic Fang as an attachment to the trident, the Serpentine Visage for the helmet, and Uncut Onyxes. Each drop is 1 in 1024 respectively, but you get 2 rolls per KC, so they are effectively 1 in 512. And overall, to see any drop, it's going to be a 1 in 128. Because of our account restrictions, we're only really after the blowpipe. Uncut Onyxes could be useful too, for our Zanite jewelry down the line. So just there, I was able to do 2 KC in 1 trip. Those are going to be few and far in between, And even if I finish 1 KC with plenty of food left over, I probably shouldn't go for the second KC. The difference between 1 KC to another is pretty big. My PB is 140 and I've hit that a few times in the 140 range. But on the other end, I've had a couple of 3+ minute kills now. Just for the sake of consistency and to save myself the frustration, I think we're going to stick to 1 KC trips for now. I got baited by the combat task. I thought I got a drop. Zulrah Adept, that is 25 KC. Ooh, a new PB. That really caught me off guard. A 134 beating out our previous PB by 6 seconds. It's actually crazy to see these kind of kill times with the stats that I have. 82 magic, 88 range. Ooh, I got baited by the loot beam there, a magic seed. We do need those though. This feels like a really fast one. And it is a 122. Absolutely nuclear. And there is the variation in play. The kill after we got a 122. This one is a 322. Legitimately a whole 2 minutes longer. It is what it is though. And that is 50 Zulrah KC. Oh, I forgot they did this. The first 50 times you die at Zulrah is free. But now, if I die, it'll cost me 100k. Well, I'm going to call it a night here. Getting the 76 agility took much longer than I thought. But I mean, hey, agility is a slow skill, so I don't know what I was thinking. But I squeezed in these 50 KCs for the night. We will continue the Zulrah grind on the next day. I was just doing my daily farm run and didn't realize this was coming up actually, but 90 farming. You can now grow redwood trees. This is the account's third 90+ skill. We picked up a hunter level from our birdhouses too. But anyways, it's back to Zulrah. We're starting at 50 KC today. And first KC of the day, some battle staves. And dwarf weeds. 127, honestly mid-kill there. I thought I was going to get a new PB. And our first drop, a Tanzanite Fang. Wait, is that what we need? That's what we need! First drop! 60 KC! It's just that easy. It's really just that easy. 60 KC, here's the log. This really feels like the first big drop on the account. I know I got the zombie axe before, which was a pretty nice loot beam itself because that thing is what, like a mil, 2 mil? But I didn't really have much use for the zombie axe, to be honest. But this blowpipe is going to be big. Anyways, we're standing here at Castle Wars because in order to make the blowpipe, you need 76 fletching, I believe. Now, 416 here doesn't have 76 fletching, we just have 67. So what we're going to do is trade it on over to wait for it. A 6.8 mil drop on 416 hero. And then over on wait for it here, we're going to use a chisel on the Tanzanite Fang, creating a blowpipe. And let's trade the bad boy back over. I also forgot to trade over some amethyst darts. This is going to make the blowpipe worth using right away. In fact, we're now going to be benching the Eclipse Atlatl in favor of the toxic blowpipe. I think I mentioned this before, but the blowpipe was really the only thing we were after here. But I honestly did not expect to get it at 60 KC. With that being said though, I feel like we have to give the blowpipe a few test runs at Zulrah. So we'll do a few more KC and then we'll work out what to do next. So there were a few occasions where I tellied out, hit the ornate pool, and just came right back without banking. If my inventory still has a lot of food, right? But this doesn't work out every time. What? I honestly thought I took 8 that, but I guess not. Oh well. It's actually our first death of the grind, and that's okay. You know what? On second thought, I think I'm going to end it off at 69 Zoro KC. So you want to get raid ready as fast as possible as an Iron Man. What do? Well, I've already taken some steps, like getting Moonskier and a Blade of Saildor. What's next? Well, we're going to go after the Baby Trident, aka the Warp Scepter. And here's how we're going to do it. We're going to need 56 Slayer, but we're just currently at 50. Let's work on that. By not doing Slayer. When I said not doing Slayer, I mean by questing and doing diaries so that we get the EXP lamps to get as much Slayer EXP as possible. I'm sure after we get all the easies and whatever medium diaries we can do, we'll still have to do a bit of Slayer training. Anyways, we're getting started with this one quest in which I don't know how to pronounce besides Little Helper. I'm going to need to get this quest done for Desert, I was going to say Elite, but Desert Easy. We're off to a terrible start. Turns out I needed to give that NPC some water skins, but because I was standing there so long recording my clip, I consumed my water skin. Oh yeah, this is the quest where it keeps putting you outside the maze and you have to keep running back in. And that's the quest completed. A little bit of EXP and the Cat Speak amulet, which we will actually need for future quests. I think for the Dragon Slayer 2 questline when we eventually get to that. But anyways, with that out the way, we can now do all the tasks for Desert Easy Diary. Step 1, fill up a water skin from a cactus. In the caves to pick up some potato cacti. Apparently you can just cheese this by picking up and dropping the same one over and over again. Now in Narda to get this guy to clean some herbs for me. Just gotta do floor 1 of the Pyramid Plunder minigame. What if we get a 1kc? Never mind. Had to go into Pyramid Plunder to grab an artifact real quick, and then we sell it to this Simon guy by the Agility Pyramid. And that is Desert Easy complete. Let's go claim our EXP lamp. If I'm not mistaken, there used to be a die requirement to use this shortcut for the Alcarid Palace. So we get the Desert Amulet 1, but more importantly for right now, we get the Antique Lamp, putting the EXP into Slayer. That is 2.5k EXP. And we got 6.8k to go until we get another level. With that out the way, we are moving on to Falador to complete the Falador Easy Diary. Filling up a bucket at this water pump right here. Talking to the hairdresser in Falador to get a different hairstyle. Of course, we gotta take off our hat. I don't actually really want to change anything, or do I? I don't know. In the park, we gotta get rid of one of these ducks right here. Next step is to make some blue-right limbs. I'm really hoping I got an extra blue-right ore. Maybe it's just sitting in the bank. There it is. Gotta thank my past self for that one. Just made the bar, but while we're here, we're also gonna make a silver tiara. That's gonna be the next step. Made it to Doric's Anvil, north of Falador actually, to make the blue-right limbs. Now the mine altar looks like it was pretty close to the anvil, but in reality you have to go all the way around and then up north. Use the mine talisman on the altar, and now we have a mine tiara. Final step in the castle, talking to this dude right here, Serenity, to find out our family crest. And very conveniently, the diary guy we talked to is just outside. We got Falador Shield 1, and now we got another antique lamp. Into Slayer. We're now in the north, the Fremenic area, to complete that easy diary. First up is to hunt a Cerulean Twitch, whatever that is. Kill 5 rock crabs. Chop an oak tree, or just get 1 log rather, and light the fire. Fill a bucket at this well in Relica, and now we run across to change our boots. Next step, create a silver tiara from scratch in Relica. Any day now. The quest helper has lied to me. Apparently that was a medium task. But oh well, at least we got it done. First time to Waterbirth Island. I think we're here to pick up a snape grass. Just 2 tiles away from us. There we go. Oh, we have to collect 5. Okay. Over in Keldagrim for our last 2 steps. Okay, I thought that was going to be our last step. But apparently we still have to craft the tiara from scratch, which I thought I did. But I don't know, let me try that again. Let's try this again, but I mean, I even recorded this and I showed you guys. A silver tiara from scratch. There's the silver ore. Now we're at the furnace. We're going to use the silver ore on the furnace. We got a silver bar. And with the silver bar, we make a tiara. There we go. That is strange. Maybe it thought I ran out of Relica at some point and it glitched. I don't know. But anyways, we have it done. Let's go collect our lamp. Fremenic Sea Boots 1 and the EXP lamp plus 2500 Slayer EXP. Next up is the Candor and Easy Diary. We're over in Catherby. We're going to talk to Harry, pick up a big fishing net. And we're going to try and get some mackerels. First try. Oh, I got all this random junk in my inventory. We're going to need to create a fish bowl, which I believe we can do with molten glass and a blowpipe. Or not a blowpipe, but you know what I mean, glass blowing pipe. Do a little bit of fishing in the aquarium. Buy a stew from the bartender, 20 coins. And just run northwest of here to plant some jute. Final step, we're going to have to cross this log near Galahad. Alright, let's TP back into Camelot to claim our lamp. This lamp is gonna push us to 51 Slayer. And 1700 total. I forgot about that actually. Hopping off the boat to make our way to Brimhaven to do the Karamja Easy Diary. First step is to travel from Ardi to Brim... What? Oh. Oh, I guess I've never made the trip this way. It's from Brimhaven to Ardi. But I've done the Ardi to Brimhaven side multiple times. Gotta mine some gold ore here. How long will this take me? Not too bad. Didn't we just have to pick up seaweed in another region? Anyways, this is also another thing where you can cheese by picking up and dropping the same one over and over again. And that's done. A little bit of combat to close out this diary. Gotta fight a Joger real quick. Now we gotta talk to Pirate Jackie the Fruit for our reward. Karamja Gloves 1, and of course the Antique Lamp. The Karamja Diary is actually one of the better rewards. Now of course the easy ones don't really give you much, but the higher tier ones will teleport you right to a Slayer Master, teleport you straight into the gem mine, and I believe, actually I think even the Karamja Gloves 1 gives you a discount in the Tokul shops. Now all the other easy diaries gave me a 2.5k EXP lamp. But this one gave me 1k. And I think this is because the Karamja diary was the first diary that was ever released. And I guess they never retroactively fixed this. Or maybe it's not even a fix, you know, it's just something they decided that should be 2.5k later on. A few more diaries to go, so now we're knocking out Karend and Kabos. Again, this diary actually very useful with the Radha's Blessing. Okay, we ran all the way over into this pub just to make a strength potion in here, I guess. In the Arceus library now, gotta help out one of the NPCs to find a certain book. Now, the Arceus library is actually a very good early game training method for rune crafting and or magic respectively. Most people will probably knock out some rune crafting levels here. However, personally, one time on a hardcore, I was high alching and doing the Arceus library to rush 80 magic for a Barrows portal. Of course, we didn't do any of that this time around. It wasn't needed. The Winter Todd Parable is what this guy asked of me, and we got it. Let's turn it in. The Karend area, or Zaya in general, is so large that for this next step, it was actually quicker for me to teleport to Draenor Village, run to the port here, and then talk to Veos to get to where I need to go. All we gotta do down here is look at their store. Diaries are very good to do because of the rewards, but I swear some of the tasks are just so pointless. I'm just not a big fan of some of the tasks. However, this is one of the ones that feel a bit more natural though. You know, naturally you're gonna have to use altars to regen prayer. I wonder if this agility course is actually good outside of just doing it for the diary. Also, this actually looks kind of cool. I don't remember this. I guess the last time I did this was before they reworked Zaya. Okay, one lap completed, and that is Karen and Kabo's diary completed as well. Let's go collect our lamp. Radha's Blessing 1 and the Antique Lamp. See, this one gives 2.5k, just like all the other ones, except Karamja. Moving on to the Lumbridge and Draenor Easy Diary. First step, into the sewers to fight a zombie. Oh, and we just one-shot it. It's too easy. Don't think we have a water talisman, so I'm just going to head to the Abyss. There's the water runes. Alright, we got to make some bread real quick. I have the bread dough. Can I even burn bread anymore? Probably not, right? We are good. Let's talk to Hans real quick. He's running away from me. Hello. Chop an oak tree. Burn an oak log. And off to Alcarid. You know, this is one thing that doesn't really make sense with the Lumbridge diaries. And it's not just the easy tier, too. The diary includes Alcarid as part of the Lumbridge and Draenor diary test. But wouldn't it make more sense to be part of the desert? Well, mining the iron ore was actually our last step. So let's head back to Lumbridge. We get the Explorer's Ring, which is also a really useful diary reward. We're halfway to 52 Slayer. Obviously, I've been using Quest Helper, but we're going to use our brain a little bit. Imagine that. So we're going to need some earmuffs. But while we're here, right next to the Slayer Master, we're going to talk to Spot. These names are weird. But we're going to tan our black dragon hide that we had in our inventory. And that is 2 tasks in 1. Oh, also, we needed a Slayer task from this guy. You know what? I actually completely forgot that we were on a crocodiles task. And I believe this was from Turiel too. So, okay, we are back in the desert to finish this crocodiles task. I think this is going to go by pretty quickly. Last time I was actually doing Slayer, and on this task, I was much, much weaker. But now, we got a Blade of Saldor, a Fire Cape, a Defender, Barrow's Gloves, Amulet of Fury, and let's not even forget, 91 Strength. Yeah, we're like 3-4 hitting these crocodiles now. Last crocodile here, and we will have finished this Slayer task from who knows how long ago. If I could just hit more than a 1, thank you. And that actually puts us very, very close to 52 Slayer. But now that's out the way, we go back to the... How do you pronounce names in this game, man? But anyways, here's a new Slayer task, 30 ghosts. We can actually do that. I didn't mean right now. We gotta continue doing the diaries, you know? I killed the Banshee so quick I didn't even get to record it, but here's 2 cosmic runes for evidence. Dude, this Wolfbane dagger is so tiny. I haven't been back to this herb patch since the Garden of Tranquility quest, but we're back so that we can place a scarecrow. Here in Port Phasmatis, we're gonna cook a thin snail and hopefully not burn it. How do I get in there? Oh, there's a door. Oh, I thought we burnt it for a second, but we're good. Oh, and that's all the diary tasks done. Talk to Le Sabre. Talk to this lady here just outside of Canifis. And Mauritania Legs 1. Of course, the lamp. This is going to get us to 52 Slayer. Ooh, jellies. Moving on to the Western Provinces Diary. This is a pretty big one, as if I recall correctly, Western Elite is going to get us... Well, I'm sorry, Western Hard is going to get us Elite Void. Or rather, it's going to allow us to get it because we're going to have to head back to Pest Control for more points. And because I'm yapping too much, I'm doing a second lap for no reason. But hey, we get a Mark of Grace. I took out the flax, but I forgot to make a bowstring. But luckily in the Gnome Stronghold, there's a bunch of spinning wheels everywhere, actually. But now that we have that done, we make a oak short bow, and that is the task completed. Everybody's favorite minigame, Gnome Ball. No, don't do it. No way I missed, right? Just picked up some swamp toads. Now to insert some commentary about how this is a hidden money maker. Something something soup, something something framed, something something Gillenor games. Up here in the north, gotta catch another bird. Surely won't take too long. Surely won't take too long. Oh? Here it comes. Alright, not bad. Even further north, mining some iron ore real quick. And that... No, I thought we were done, but we gotta head back to Pest Control. For a novice game? Aw, man. It is 1 a.m. on a weekday. Am I gonna be able to get into a game? Surely, right? Alright, by no means is this a full team. I think there's like 7 people top here. Let's see what happens. Gotta head east. I wonder, does Pest Control scale? Because it seems like we're actually doing it with just, I don't know, 5 to 8 people. On to the last portal, we're actually going to do it. I think. And there we go, we did it. We're in Felled Up Hills right now working on Chompy Birds because we're going to need 30 to be able to claim our first hat. The last step for us in terms of the Western Provinces Easy Diary. Looks like we should have 30 KC done. Let's ask for a hat. Show him the bow. And there we go, a Chompy Bird hat, collection log. And what we are here for, the Easy Western Provinces Diary complete. Made our way back over into the Gnome Stronghold. We're going to talk to this Elder Gnome Child. And there we go, we got the banner and the lamp. Now it's time to work on the final easy diary, which is the wilderness. First things first, let's get a team cape, wear that bad boy, and hop into the wilderness. Oh, looks like we gotta re-equip it. There it is. That. Oh, that wasn't the wilderness. Awkward. There we go. Yeah, looks like right over the ditch right here is actually not the wilderness, which is interesting. In the Edgeville dungeon, we're going to pick up some red spider eggs, and then I believe after this, we're going to hop on over these monkey bars and get an earth warrior. Now's not a great time to be hitting zeros. There we go. Back on the surface, on my way to mine 1 iron ore real quick, and hopefully not get animation canceled by these skeletons. We're good. Up by the enclave. What is this noise? What? These mammoths make really weird noises. But anyways, we gotta fight one of these bad boys. Next, we're gonna hit up the obelisk, which is, I'm actually going the wrong way, which is over here. We're gonna try and get ourselves to the Deep Wildy, because we have to head to the Fountain of Ruin. And we first tried it, how lucky. I think all we need to do here is to low alch anything, so let's low alch this Grom one. Heading on over to the Chaos Altar now, this is probably the only situation where I might run into somebody, so let's be careful here. Just have to pray at the altar real quick. There we go, and let's get out of here. Back in Edgeville, we gotta go talk to this dude right here, the Lesser Fanatic, our Wildy Sword, and the Lamp. We're about halfway to 53 Slayer. So we've now finished all the easy diaries. We jumped from 50 to 52 Slayer. I haven't looked into all the requirements yet, but I do think we will be able to do a lot of the medium diaries as well. We'll have to do some questing along the way for sure though. And I went ahead and pre-planted some of the time-gated diary tasks. I think limpworts and strawberries. Ideally, they won't die on me, and we'll be ready to knock those out next. We're getting raid ready as quickly as possible on my Pure Ironman. Right now the goal is to get the Warp Sceptre. We're gonna need 56 Slayer for that. Last video we trained Slayer up through... Last video we trained Slayer up through EXP lands from all the easy diaries. I planned on following that up by completing most, if not all, mediums today. However, I'm more in the mood to actively train Slayer right now instead of doing diaries and quests and whatnot. So, let's get started. Currently on a ghost task that we're going to knock out here in the catacombs real quick. We picked up this task the other day from the Mauritania Slayer Master. But in general, I think we're going to be doing Turiel, and then every 10th task we're going to go to... Looks like we're going to be going to Neve in the Gnome Stronghold. We don't really have any Slayer unlocks yet. In fact, I'm not even sure if we have Superiors yet. If we don't, we're going to make sure to unlock that right away, or as soon as possible. But yeah, we're gonna be point boosting. Alright, let's talk to Turiel for our next task. 17 Calphite, we can knock that really quickly. But while we're here, let's check on what kind of unlocks we actually have. So we're working with only 142 points, so I imagine we don't have anything unlocked at all. We do not. Bigger and Badder for the Superior task is going to be the first thing we're going to want to unlock, and we're 8 points shy at the moment. 17 Calphite, we're just going to get this done real quick. These guys don't drop anything really interesting. There is the option of doing the boss Calphite Queen, but obviously we're not going to do that at this point in time. It's actually pretty nice to be doing Slayer now because of all the upgrades we've gotten. And it's definitely a sight seeing myself in Blood Moon and a Blade of Saildor. When Perilous Moons was released, my account, wait for it, was well past that stage of the game, and there wasn't really a point in me doing moons on that account. And of course, the traditional route for an Iron Man when it comes to the Corrupted Gauntlet is to go for the Bofa, because that thing is just that powerful. But it's nice to use the Blade. TP to the monastery, and we're running over to this mountain to fight some ice fiends. When it comes to the Turiel tasks, I don't think there's going to be anything too interesting, unfortunately, but we'll check back in on the 10th task from Neve and we'll see what we get. I was not expecting a collection log here at all, but a crawling hand, okay. That is 69 tasks completed. Heading on over to Neve in the Gnome Stronghold, and let's see what task she's going to give us. Hellhounds. 183 of them? So obviously this is not a very good task generally speaking, but for whatever reason I'm kind of down to do it. So let's head on over into the catacombs. Oh, and that is a combat task for 1 Hellhound KC. For those of you looking more closely, this is indeed Initiate Armor. I should really go ahead and do the Slug Menace quest to unlock Proselyte for better prayer bonus. After 56 Slayer, at some point down the line, we're going to have to train the 69 Slayer, do Monkey Madness 2 to unlock Demonic Gorillas for Zenite Shards. So, I think at some point before that, we'll work on getting Proselyte. Just hit 53 Slayer, 3 more levels to go. As we do this Hellhounds task, I was thinking, obviously, oh, I'm almost dead. No, hold on. As I was saying, since we're doing the Hellhounds task, I've been thinking of Cerberus and how it's 91 Slayer, which makes sense. But I'm kind of surprised that I have a Hellhounds task this early. I guess there's actually no Slayer level requirement for Hellhounds. But as you can see, since I nearly planked, These things are pretty tough. Since the Hellhounds aren't actually that far away, I'm going to go ahead and just keep my prayer up the entire time. I'm going to TP out when my prayer runs out and not go into the desert. That is, I don't know why I did that. But yeah, we're going to hit the pool and then head back into the catacombs. Oops, I was AFKing a little too hard. Teleported out to do my birdhouse run, and I was checking the bank, and it occurred to me that I have an antique lamp that's been sitting here. I believe I needed level 50 to use this, and I'm not even sure where this is from. The museum, maybe, for kudos? I don't know, but either way, we're going to use it now for Slayer. That is 20,000 Slayer XP. We gained a level 54. One more Hellhound here, and it's going to push us to 55 Slayer. There it is. And just one more level to go until we hit 56 for the Warp Scepter. Just finished the Hellhounds task. We got another 7.7k Slayer EXP to go. We're going to pick up some more tasks from Turiel. And our task is going to be 27 Banshees. We can knock that out really quickly. But before we go, we now have enough points to unlock Bigger and Badder with 52 points to spare. I honestly can't believe this is a Slayer task. Another 9 Turiel tasks complete. Let's see what Neva's going to give us. Iron Dragons. In the past, Iron Dragons were a automatic cancel or block. But we're in the early stages of the game right now. We don't have that many points. I'm trying to stack up the Slayer task streak to build up points. So I don't really want to skip this over right now. And on top of that, maybe an Iron Dragon task isn't so bad these days with the elemental weakness and the new items we have available. We're going to give it a shot at least. Let's test it out. We've busted out the Blue Moon gear along with the Twin Flame Staff and an anti-dragon shield. Topped off with our anti-fire potions, and we should take no damage from these Iron Dragons. As long as we keep our distance. The question is, how much damage are we going to do? Oh my. The answer is a lot of damage. Holy. Yeah, I might actually consider doing this task consistently now. And I suppose for hardcores that don't want to go into the wilderness to try and get a rune crossbow, you can get the dragon, or not the dragon, the rune limbs from these Iron Dragons here. I think in terms of efficiency, this is still not a task you want to do, but it's nice to know that it's not going to be a Slayer brick wall in the early game like it used to be. So on Wait For It, when I did Slayer, I committed to the Slayer task streaks, and I never Turiel skipped. This time around on this account, I am looking to Turiel skip, but right now we need a boost for points to get all the unlockables and the extended tasks and whatnot. So that's why I'm here doing this Iron Dragons task right now. Plus, using all this new gear is pretty fun. I am picking up these dragon bones, but as of right now, I don't really have any plans on moving on from 63 prayer. But I'm picking them up because for one thing, I'm just kind of a loot goblin, like to collect stuff in my bank. And if we ever change our minds, it's nice to know that we'll have the dragon bones stacked up in our bank. Ooh, a collection log. Dark totem base, the first piece for a totem. I was like, what's it called? A totem for Scatizo. We're not going to have to finish the task, just this last KC here, and we're going to hit 56 Slayer. One more hit. Of course, we splash when I say that. That should be it. We're running low on prey too. There it is, 56 prayer. Let's pick up the dragon bones and TP out of here. So as far as Slayer goes, this is our stopping point at 56 Slayer. We have now unlocked the ability to do warped creatures. Well, after we complete the quest, the path of Gluffery. Before we get started on the quest, I'm here at Tears of Guthix because it's another week and we can still do the mini game. Still sitting at 44 rune crafting. And we go from 44 to 45 rune crafting. I had to make a mithril grapple real quick, but now that we have that done, we can now officially start the quest. Just like the first quest in this quest line, we gotta do some puzzle solving with this machine and these shapes. Just southwest of Castle Wars here, we're gonna grapple past this tree, talk to Long Gramble over here, and this is actually a new spirit tree that we're about to unlock. Alright, spirit tree unlocked, and just west of the spirit tree is the sewer entrance, and this is where we're gonna find the warped creatures that will drop us the warp scepter. I actually don't know if you have to finish the quest to get the warp scepter, but of course either way we're gonna do that anyways before we start the grind. When you run through these mobs, make sure you protect range and have either earmuffs or a Slayer mask on. If I'm not mistaken, these guys are actually weak to crush, so we're gonna have to see which weapon we're gonna use. But for the quest, I just brought my Blade of Saldor with me. We ran through the sewers, and here we are. We have to fight these 3 warped terror birds. I think these are higher level than the ones outside. I guess we're just gonna have to flinch them, because I didn't really come too prepared for this. 1 down, 2 to go. And that's 2 down. And the last one is down. And that is the Path of Gloughery completed. I completely forgot about these 4 EXP lamps. But that's a whopping 30,000 strength EXP, 20,000 Slayer, 5,000 thieving, 5,000 magic. Oh, and our total quest points is 222. Let's go ahead and use the lamps. 20,000 Slayer. That's going to give us 57 Slayer. Magic, I don't think that's going to make a difference. Oh, that was thieving, which puts us at 73. And then this is the magic lamp. There we go. So the warped creatures are a Slayer task. However, you do have to spend points to unlock them. For one thing, I don't have points right now to spare. And 2, I'm going to go ahead and do them off task anyways. I'm not going to hunt the task even if I had it unlocked. Now we just have to figure out our setup. And we'll be ready to farm the warp scepter. 2 GIM accounts, 2 times the farming. Just had to knock out all the typical Iron Man farming related things, but now we are ready and I've figured out the gear setup. We're going to be rocking our best in slot melee gear, of course, with the Blade of Saldor and the Rune Defender. However, in my inventory, I also have my Initiate armor and the dualies, let's just call it that. The dualies are actually going to be my best in slot while I have the full Blood Moon set on. However, I'm going to utilize the Initiate armor and protect melee so that I can extend my trips. While we have the Initiate armor on, the dualies power is going to drop off a lot, so that's why I have the blade with me. I just showed up and I'm constantly hitting zeros, and that's because I forgot one very important thing. In order to fight these guys, you need the crystal chime that you got from the Path of Gloughery quest in your inventory at all times. Anyways, now that we're here, let's talk about the drop rate. The drop rate for the Warp Scepter is a 1 in 320. As far as other drops go, they do drop a little bit of food every now and then. They drop some Addy and Rune armor, which is why I brought runes for High Alch. Other than that, there's nothing too interesting that drops from these mobs. This is an early mid-game mob after all. To be honest, now that we've made it here, and we're actually grinding for the Warp Scepter, there isn't too much to this. These mobs don't have any mechanics. If you're using Prey, you just turn on Prey melee. If not, you just keep your food up, you click the mobs, and you AFK and come back when there's loot on the ground. And since we're not on task either, there's not going to be any superiors, so I'll just check back in at like 100 KC, 200 KC, and when we hit rate. Let's see if we can get it before rate. So far for most of this grind, this was kind of a secondary screen for me. I was focused on doing hard mode top on, wait for it. But we're done with that session now, so I can focus a bit more on this. We are up to 236 KC. Again, the drop rate is 320, so we're not quite there yet. Not only interesting, but we got a longbone drop before a warp scepter. Big strength level there, level 93. We are currently over 300 KC now at 308. Still no warp scepter. Getting close to rate though. We are now 2 KC over rate. I believe this calls for some complaining. Not really, but surely we'll get one soon. We are up to 400 KC now, and we're still here, so you know what that means. We are currently over 500 KC, so no luck yet, unfortunately. Honestly, I was not expecting for it to take this long to get a warp scepter. We're closer to 600 KC now than 500. And I'm not gonna lie, in the back of my mind, I know that I have some dupe Sanguinesti staffs available. Alright, we're gonna utilize the trust fund in this. I'm at KC 574 right now. If I make it to 600 and I don't get a warp scepter, I'm just gonna go ahead and give myself the Sanguinesti staff. Well, so much for the Sang staff. We're gonna rock the warp scepter, KC 589. All we had to do was complain. Kind of funny that I started verbally complaining about the grind, and then the game finally gave me the drop. I'm not gonna lie, I was getting pretty excited to just hand myself a Sanguinesti staff, but I guess for now, we rock the Warp Scepter since we got it ourselves. In the last video, we finally got our Warp Scepter, so that's another PVM item checked off our list. As for what's next, well, our next few upgrades are locked behind some questing. We're level 57 Slayer right now, but back at 55, we unlocked Cave Horrors, meaning Black Mass, meaning Slayer Helm. We're going to need to get that as soon as we can, but we're going to need to do Cabin Fever first. After we get done with that, we're going to work on getting Thralls, a big DPS unlock. We're going to do that by doing the quest Kingdom Divided. Well, before that, we're going to do the, 5-6 quests that we have to do before Kingdom Divided. I actually forgot that we already finished Cabin Fever. So, with that being said, all we have to do is go farm some Cave Horrors. So I went ahead and geared up. I did some DPS checks, and assuming we're wearing full Blood Moon, then the dualies will be better. However, we're not doing that. We are wearing the Eclipse Moon top and bottom for some magic defense. As Cave Horrors attack melee, but their attack is based on magic. So we're going to test out the setup, but if we end up taking too much damage, I'm going to swap to range and safe spot them. If you didn't know, the Cave Horrors are located on the island of Mostly Harmless after you complete Cabin Fever, which we did a while ago and I actually just forgot. And then you head on over to this cave entrance to the east. This is one of those caves which requires a light source, so be sure to bring that. For my case, I'm bringing my fire making cape. Mistakes have been made, and I'm sure somebody would have noticed this at the beginning, but it turns out Cave Horrors are level 58 Slayer. For some reason, I thought they were 55. The plan remains the same, just altered slightly. First, we gotta knock out 19k worth of Slayer EXP, and then we'll come back. So it looks like we last left off on Iron Dragons. With the Twin Flame Staff and Earth Wave, this shouldn't take too long. Always getting caught off guard with collection log or combat task pop-ups whenever I'm doing Slayer. There goes my first Ancient Shard. And our next Neve task is going to be 135 Calcite. Yeah, we can do that. The one downside to the Moon's gear is that it's incredibly expensive to repair. 2.8 mil to completely repair my Blood Moon set. That is rough. We only need 156 EXP to go until we hit 58, but we're picking up a new Neve task. I believe this is actually our 100th task. It looks like we have Fire Giants. This is going to be big points though. 2 Fire Giants into the task, and that's 58 Slayer. We're going to come back to this task later. For right now, let's get geared back up for the Cave Horrors to get our Black Mask. A Black Mask is 1 in 512, so let's see how long it'll take us. So far, meleeing seems to be working out quite well. I seem to be 3 or 4 shotting these Cave Horrors pretty consistently. And the big thing is they're not smacking me too hard. See, back-to-back zeros. And we're currently not on task, so we don't have to worry about superiors. We just got a longbone. If I remember correctly, we also got a longbone near the beginning of our Warped Creatures grind for the Scepter. I think this is the game's way of trolling me just a little bit, you know? Ooh, baguette chance. Never stale. Just under 200 KC right now. Even though the drop rate is higher at 1 in 512 versus the Warp Scepter at, I think 1 in 320, I think this grind should go by quicker. These Cave Horrors have much less health. Dude, a second longbone? Oh snap, there it is. The Black Mask at KC 469, so under rate. Just like that. We got what we need, let's get out of here. So, like I said before, after getting our Black Mask, we now set our sights on getting thralls. In order to do that, we're going to have to do quite a bit of quests. The first on the list is Client of Korend. All these quests will ultimately lead up to the big one, Kingdom Divided. Finished up the first quest, and this one's pretty big. I mean, of course, we get the antique lamps, but also we get this book, which will let us teleport around Zaya. And as we all know, Zaya is just too damn big. After the completion of Kingdom Divided, this book will turn into the Book of the Dead. Next up, we're doing Queen of Thieves. We're conveniently already in the area. I just have to hit the bank to grab a stew. I remember this quest. How would you like to kill him? Brutally or softly? You realize that you can't really kill someone softly. You brutally murder him instead. Queen of Thieves completed. We get a page to add to our book. Next up is the Depths of Despair by talking to Lord Hasidius. Another quest down, another page to add to our book. Now we're moving on to the Ascent of... I just realized this, but I pronounce this pretty interchangeably. Arceus? Arceus? Anyways, we're doing the Ascent of Arceus. Arceus? You know what I mean. There goes another one. Just 2 more quests to do before we can do the big one. Currently working on the Forsaken Tower. This quest is just a bunch of little puzzles on each floor. The Forsaken Tower completed. Free use of the Lovakanj minecarts. Can't say I've ever used those before. We're in the Shazian region right now, getting started on the final prereq quest, Tale of the Righteous. Tale of the Righteous finished. Now we can finally start the Kingdom Divided. It says that I'm going to need a defense potion, but a 3 or 4 dose. I currently only have a 2 dose, so I'm going to head into the Warriors Guild. That's the wrong NPC. Talk to Lily over here, and we can purchase a defense pot. Just 2 more things to pick up before we start this quest, one of which is... Oh, well, be right back. One of them is the volcanic sulfur. We actually went to the right place, but we need a face mask for protection. Here we are. Now we can mine it. And we just needed the one. This was also a medium task, so that's nice. And for the last item, we just had to make a quick stop at the Zaya rune crafting mines. And I No! Oh, there's a chisel over here. Never mind. That's right. I thought I forgot the pickaxe too, but not having a chisel is no big deal. There's a spawn here. We just needed a dark essence block. Now that we have it, we can now start the quest by talking to Martin Hull. Quick little boss fight coming up. The Judge of Yama. At the time of this recording, Yama's not actually out yet, but it is being discussed and it was already voted in to the polls. So, it's going to be interesting to see what that's going to be like. There we go. Even though we just did a boss fight, I don't think this quest is anywhere near done. If I recall correctly, there is at least 1 more boss fight. A Kingdom Divided is a pretty long quest. Here we go, this is the final boss fight. I can't move. Oh. Okay, this is why you actually read up on certain boss fights. I brought in my melee gear, but turns out that this boss is weakest to range. So let me just go get re-geared, and then we should be able to fly through this boss. Yep, having the range gear made it much easier. Forget chance and never stale. I remember this part of the quest pretty well because it's kind of dumb. You just talk to all the NPCs at this tower, right? But you go up the ladder, down the ladder, up the stairs, down the stairs, back up twice more, blah, 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 blah. You get the point, you know? Let's not forget going down into the basement. So it seems like because I died during that boss fight with the Dark Essence block and the Volcanic Sulfur on me, I lost it. So unfortunately, I have to go back and recollect these items. The Karen Woodlands is such a random location, and anytime I see this spot right here, I just think of the LMS map. I know we're on the home stretch to being done with this quest right now, but man, does it feel like it's dragging on right now. And it's not so much the story, it's just Zaya is just too damn big. I have to run around so much. Oh my god, a Varlamore reference before Varlamore was released. Honestly, what a twist at the end of this quest, right? Anyways, that is a Kingdom Divided completed, finally. We get the Book of the Dead, 2 antique lamps. We're going to spend that on Slayer, of course. And we have the option of the Karen Castle respawn point, but I'm not sure who has ever picked that, honestly. But we now have access to thralls. That's the big thing. That's going to be useful in almost any PVM engagement we're going to have. Doing my daily tree run, and we just hit 91 farming. Most Ironmen only grab the Berserker ring in the beginning. It's the most useful ring, and Rex is easily safe spottable. Well, we're going after all 3. We are bringing the big boys, and we're gonna dolo the Dagannoth Kings. A little while ago, there was a QOL update to agility, and one of the things they did was add shortcuts to the Dagannoth Kings. Wait for it has the requirements, obviously, but unfortunately, 416 here does not. So I think what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and do the regular route anyways, and kind of escort ourselves to the bosses. I feel like it's pretty fitting to dolo this boss because the entrance back there requires 2 people or yourself and a pet rock to open anyways. Oh, and upon arriving here, I just realized I forgot to get some knives. Again, this is one of those things where on Wait For It, I won't need throwing knives anymore to open up these door supports because I would just be climbing down the ladder. But because I have 416 Hero with me, I'm going to have to teleport out now and grab some throwing knives. Alright, we made it back to these little door supports, and I believe, I haven't done this in a while, but basically I rune throne axe spec these doors in the middle, I think. And yep, there we go. Let's get both characters inside. Having to make this run on both accounts is very awkward. Right now I have 416 Hero leading the way, but honestly I should swap that around. Alright, we made it to this little safe spot here, right next to the Dagannoth Kings. I just traded myself over some stuff, and went and resupplied. Now that I'm only making the trip on, wait for it, I'm going to showcase the shortcuts. So we climb up the mountain, we climb down, and here we are in this spot already. And then we climb down the ladder as usual. And I believe after climbing up this ladder here, instead of making a right and going down this ladder, I believe you'd squeeze through this crevice. And it skips over a big chunk of the run. And as you can see in the distance, that's where the Dagannoth Kings are already. This probably saves you a good minute or two. Okay, now that we've made it back, let's talk about our gear setups really quickly. I'm keeping it as simple as I can on both accounts. Let's go over a wait for it. So we have the 3 mega rares, amulet, a cape, and a glove switch. And then our spec weapon is just going to be for sustainability with Stairdomen Godsword. And then we have our combat pots, our food, and our prayer, and an extended anti-venom, because there are things in there that will poison you. Over on 416 Hero, we keep it even simpler. We don't have an amulet switch, we just have the Amulet of Fury. We don't have any armor switches, we're just switching weapons, and I'm bringing along the Ava's accumulator so I don't lose out on a billion darts with my blowpipe. We will be running thralls on 416 Hero, and the Lunar Spellbook for pot share on wait for it. Of course, we make it all the way over here. We're all geared up on both accounts, and I'm just now realizing something. Before I made my way over here, I made it a point to teleport to the player-owned house and switch spellbooks on both accounts. I thought I switched the Arceus spellbook on 416 Hero here, but it turns out I didn't, because it says, you do not meet the requirements to use that spellbook. Now, in my mind, I did a Kingdom Divided. I got the Book of the Dead, which enables you to use thralls, and I'm like, okay, yeah, everything's all good. But a quick look at the wiki, and it turns out I didn't do one simple thing, and that was to talk to the NPC right next to the Dark Altar by the Zaya runecrafting mines. Now, since I made all the effort to get all the way over here, I really can't be bothered to TP out right now, so at least for this first trip, I guess we won't have thralls. Anyways, the game plan here is to enter the room first with wait for it. So let's pot up. Let's pot share the super combat, pot share the range pot. And I don't think you can pot share anti-venoms, but let's just make sure on that. Yeah, you can't. I already peeked, there's nobody in there. If there somehow is people in there, that's gonna suck. Okay, I believe now we can head in on 416 Hero. So because wait for it is so much stronger. Unfortunately, I think most of the KCs, if not all, are gonna be over on trying to speak and do this at the same time. A little bit difficult. But anyways, now that the bosses are dead on the first rotation, because wait for it is so much stronger, and obviously the gear gap and all, wait for it's most likely gonna get all the KCs. Okay, we just got done with one rotation of the bosses. Now I believe Supreme is going to spawn first, so let's get our melee weapons out here. And we got about 20 seconds until Prime spawns. Not doing as much DPS as I thought I would be. Oh, this is a little scary. Switch to Prey Mage on both accounts. Okay, I need to orientate the cameras the same way on both perspectives, otherwise it gets really confusing. Let's switch to our melee gear. So unfortunately, the downside is we're not going to get the collection log pop-ups. Oh, this is scary. Oh, this is scary. So priority number 1 is to make sure we get the correct overheads on, and then we can worry about everything else afterwards. The last thing we want to do here is to have one of our accounts, or worse, both our accounts plank. And then getting our stuff back is going to be a huge pain in the ass. It was definitely pretty rough at first, but I think now that we're a few rotations in, we're getting the hang of this. Sometimes it's not really possible to trade because we got these Spino things constantly hitting. So I'm just going to drop some food on the ground for 416 Hero, who is actually dying right now because of the chip damage. Holy. Something I'm wondering is whether or not 416 Hero can use the Ceridome Godsword. Because it definitely seems like he needs it more than wait for it. But I don't know if the weird GIM restrictions are enforced on that. I didn't quite track the starting KCs we were at. I guess I can take a look at high scores right now. Because I haven't logged out, it hasn't updated. And we can take a look at our starting KCs. I don't believe 416 Hero has gotten kill credit for any of these so far. But that's okay. 416 Hero actually got kill credit for one of them. 1 KC Dagannoth Supreme. Okay, I was going to try and look up the high scores for our starting KCs, but it was kind of difficult while managing 2 accounts at once. So I had my clanmate look it up for me. It looks like we're at 262 Rex, 260 Supreme, and 218 Prime. Wow, we were able to get a full crystal key so far on this trip. Wow, and we get another KC on Supreme. I guess it makes sense. Strength is the highest stat we have on this account. By this account, I realized I'm showing the wrong POV, but on 416 Hero, of course. Let's go ahead and switch the POV over to 416 Hero. It's a little bit harder to keep track because there are 3 different boss KCs here, but I think we're about 12 rotations around now. No luck yet. Honestly, the hardest thing about soloing, well, I mean, in my case, I'm not soloing, but dealing with all 3 Dagannoth Kings is the initial entrance. But I think the general strategy is, I mean, of course you can off-take them, but if you can't, you just protect mage, get rid of the ranger as soon as possible. More times than not, Rex is not even going to be on you yet because he's further into the room. So you get rid of the major, then you get rid of the ranger, and then once you've set up the cycle where only one of them are up at any given time, it's just pretty easy from there. Midway through this trip, I kind of decided I'm just not going to use any offensive prayers to save myself the prayer doses. And it seems like timing-wise it works out better that way too. If I'm using Piety and Rigor and Augury and all that, sometimes it seems like I kill them too fast and then the rotation gets all messed up. I'm not sure if I mentioned this before, but we are on task on wait for it. We have a Dagannoth task, so the damage difference between the 2 accounts is even greater because of that. Yeah, this is actually pretty chill. I think it might be easier and less intensive than when I was doloing Royal Titans. So let's take an opportunity here to talk about the drop rates. All the rings are 1 in 1. Oh, I got baited. That's an archer helm. Oh, I thought that was an archer's ring. Anyways, each ring from each boss respectively is a 1 in 128. So in theory, it shouldn't take us too long to see a drop. But yeah, going back to comparing it to Royal Titans, this is much easier because at the end of the day, all you're doing here is turning on the correct prayer and then hitting the boss with the correct attack style. Whereas at Royal Titans, you actually have to move around. There are things to dodge. Obviously, there is more switching involved here, though. Ooh, and interestingly enough, we just got our first KC on 416 Hero for Dagannoth Prime. We just out DPS'd a T-bow. Huh, I noticed a weird bug going on in here, actually. If you look at the top left where I have the Dagannoth King's HP bar, it says Echo. Now, the Echo variants from the previous leagues, obviously we're not in that right now. Doing content like this doloing makes me think about how in the future, whether or not it'd be possible to have a second set of mega rares, the Twisted Bow, the Shadow, and the Sight, and then I'll have 2 accounts with all the mega rares in one group. Let's go ahead and repot our range pot and our super combat. Now that I think about it, thralls probably wouldn't have been too helpful here. I would have been better off on the ancient spellbook to heal up. Of course, without a doubt, the lunar spellbook for pot share is a no-brainer though. Wait for it has the Fremenic Elite Diary done, so we've been picking up and stacking up these Dagannoth bones. Again, currently no plans to move on from 63 prayer, but stacking up the bones would be nice in the event that we change our minds. Wow, every time this happens, I just have to make note of it, just because it's so surprising. 416 Hero has secured yet another Supreme KC. We are up to 3 KC on this account now. And of course, in general, no luck yet, no rings, not even a Warrior's Ring, which actually is not dead content anymore. A Warrior's Ring will be used to turn into a Bellator in the future. Oh, we get a seer call on wait for it out of all things. What the heck? I've never gotten this before. Oh, don't die. What the? I've never gotten a seer call drop before? What? I was so confused right there. Like, I saw a collection log pop up, but then I was like, wait, I'm on the wrong screen. That's the wrong account. No! Well, I guess I'll end that trip. I was low on supplies anyways. Yeah, I was still thinking about the seer call drop. That caught me so off guard. I died. I had the wrong protection prayer on. I'm going to go ahead and finish this rotation of the Dagannoth King since I already killed Rex. Might as well kill Supreme and Prime as well. Maybe we'll get one of the rings. Well, clearly it won't be the Archer's ring. Maybe the, what's it called? Seer's ring. And moment of truth. It looks like we're leaving. Well, I was about to say we're leaving this first trip empty-handed, but I guess technically we got a seer call, so that's cool. All right, first trip ended. Unfortunately, right now we are on a mission to go collect our stuff. So let's go do that real quick and then resupply. And then I think I'm fine with another trip right now. Surely we get some sort of ring, right? To be honest, the gear setup on 416 Hero might be cheap enough to where it wouldn't be too bad to collect from Death's Coffer, maybe. But, I don't know. Let's just save ourselves a GP. Oh my god, I forgot the Rune Throne axes again. Let's just get to the doors real quick, though. Okay. Using 2 accounts is hard. I'm confused. I wonder if I can do the throne axe spec from inside. I already remembered this being a pain in the ass when you die, but this just made it worse. I forgot that your gravestone doesn't come up on the surface. It's actually in the Dagannoth King's room. So, this just makes things a little bit more difficult. It looks like the game plan, once again, is to head on in on wait for it first. And clean house, and then 416 Hero will be able to safely walk in. Because at this point in time, we don't really have a lot of stuff right now. Okay, this could be a little bit of a risky maneuver, but currently I have Supreme distracted right now. Oh, is Prime gonna see me? I don't know. We get our stuff. Scrap the shark. Oh, there's a super restore on the ground. We need that. Okay, let's get out of here. Let's get back up the ladder on both accounts. Oh. Everything's fine. Hop over the stupid root thing. Okay. Alright, let's just recollect ourselves. I think the game plan here is I'm going to stay put right here on 416 Hero because I am not doing another trip of running through all those rooms. So with that being said, we're going to resupply on wait for it and just make the trek a couple of times on this account, but with the shortcuts. I'm going to take this chance while we're not fighting for our lives to talk about how many kills we've done so far, because in the moment it is hard to keep track. But basically, we started at 262 Rex, and we are currently now at 299 KC on wait for it. Now, 416 Hero hasn't sniped any Rex KC, so that means we've done all 3 bosses 37 times. I think a few more rotations and we will hit rate soon. Basically, you just take 37 and multiply that by 3. Okay, we are back for trip number 2. Let's pot up. And once again, enter with wait for it first to set up the room. Alright, everything's all good. Enter in 416 Hero, and now we're set up. Rex poked us a little bit, but everything's all fine. Alright, surely we get a Berserker ring right here. And Mithril pickaxe. Wow, once again, 416 Hero snipes the KC. This is happening more often than I would think. I don't believe it. Back-to-back Supreme KCs go to 416 Hero. He's popping off. 3 in a row. You know what? At this point, Sight the Vidder, overrated. Piety, overrated. Slayer Task, overrated. 4 in a row. You know, I really don't know what's going on. What changed from the previous trip to this trip? I don't know. Nothing. Very confusing. No, I say nothing's changed, but you know what? I should have taken that chance to go and actually unlock the Arceus spellbook, but I forgot. And of course, I'm back at DK's already, so I'm not leaving. Wait. Oh, shit. I just got a Rex KC too. What? That's the first Rex KC. Really hoping for some food drops soon because it is not looking good. Alright, I'm not really sure what went wrong there, but I had to abort and bail out of the room on both accounts. We're a little bit short on food, so I'm going to TP out and grab some more food. Well, first I'm going to trade over these supplies. Yeah, we are back in. Same concept. Let's just get rid of Supreme. And now we are all set up again. Oh yeah, that ring of life you see on the ground right now, that's the second one we've had so far. And I just remembered they are the same drop rate as the other rings. No way. A shield left half. Alright, what are we doing here? Oh, I guess this is our first drop, a warrior ring. Although I think we have dupes of those, so not super interesting. But I guess since 416 Hero was here part of this trip, that warrior's ring will go to him. Can we get a back-to-back from Rex? Perhaps a berserker ring? We cannot. Well, it looks like my task on Wait For It has finished. Oh my, another warrior ring. Little unfortunate. We've managed to snipe 10 Supreme KC and we got a medium combat task out of it. Alright, we were out of food and we were just 15 health and 7 prayer, so we teleported out. We did a rough estimate of about 230 total DK KC, meaning about 70 to 80 KC of each respective boss. We got 2 warrior rings out of it. There was a couple of ring of life drops, and not much else to be honest. Not even a dragon axe. I'm going to take a bit of a break from the grind. Over on Wait For It, I think I'm going to try and pick up another task, but we will be back because I definitely want the rings, especially the Berserker ring. The last video we started doing Dagannoth Kings. We came away with just a Warrior's ring. We had a Dagannoth Slayer task over on Wait For It here, and we finished that up. Now I'm on the hunt to get another task. You might be wondering why I'm not trying to get a task on 416 Hero, and well, there's just so many other things I could be doing on 416 Hero at this given time. Besides, doing Slayer on 416 Hero at the moment is just very, very slow, and of course, there's no guarantee that I'm going to get a Dagannoth task. Over on Wait For It, I am on the hunt for an imbued heart anyways, so this kind of works out. Whoa, this is weird. I just spawned 2 superiors at the same time. No luck on the first superior. Maybe we'll get a bit of luck on the second. I messed up here. I got distracted, and these range ones spawned. So I'm going to have to blood barrage to stay alive here. Come on, give me my imbued heart. What are we getting? Nothing. We don't even hit the table on either of them. Unfortunate. Ooh, the third superior this task. 3rd time's the charm, right? This time we never let it hit us. It's stacked up behind these this row of necrals, so there's no rangers that spawned. And Dark Totem top. Still no Dagannoth task, but we've been getting a lot of good tasks in terms of going for the imbued heart today, so let's just keep going. Over on 416 Hero, I've been switching it up between Barbarian Fishing and AFKing at Ammonite Crabs. Right now we're 87 fishing, and recently we hit 90 hit points and 94 strength, so our stats are getting up there. No way. I didn't even think to record it because honestly I wasn't expecting anything, right? And we've already got our bucket. We just got a duplicate bucket at KC23. I think it was only like 1 or 2 KC ago that we got our first one. After pretty much a full day's worth of Slayer, I finally picked up a Dagannoth task. So we've geared back up on both accounts. This time I've made a few adjustments. So previously I was wondering if 416 Hero was able to use the Saradomin Godsword, and the answer is yes. So I've traded the Saradomin Godsword over to 416 Hero, and as you know, previously we spent a whole chunk of time doing the Kingdom Divide questline to unlock the Book of the Dead. But unfortunately, we weren't able to use thralls on our last Dagannoth Kings trip. all because I forgot to unlock the actual spellbook itself by talking to an NPC. Well, I got that done, and now we can bring thralls. This time around, I'm going to move through the tunnels one account at a time. So right now we're controlling 416 Hero and doing the original long tedious route, and then after that I'll wait for it to take the shortcut. This is a bit more manageable this way. And now we'll be making the trip on Wait For It. Once I get to the end there, I'm going to trade over some supplies because I did use a bit of food and stuff just running through. And then I can TP out on Wait For It and resupply real quick. Alright, we've made it back. Both accounts are stocked up, so let's pot up the Super Combat and the Range pot, and we'll get set up with Wait For It. Alright, both accounts are now in. Okay, disregard the Zamorak Godsword that I brought in. I have no idea why I brought it. The food situation is already not looking great, but hopefully we will get some drops soon. So in our last trip, all we got was 2 Warriors Ring. Hopefully this time around we can get an Archers and a Seers, and definitely priority number 1 is the Berserker Ring right now. Over on 416 Hero, we just got the Sit Back and Relax Combat achievement. That is, I think that's just 100 damage with thralls. 416 Hero snags the first KC. I'm trying to think about why I took out the Zamorak Godsword, and I think it's because for some reason I thought about the Ancient Godsword, which actually heals you, but that is clearly not the Ancient Godsword, and I don't have one. We're completely out of food, albeit both accounts are relatively healthy right now. But hopefully we get some drops soon. Finally, we got a food drop, and funny enough, 416 Hero got the Rex KC. We got some swordfish. And now we got a shark drop on Wait For It. Things are looking a little bit better now. Even more sharks. Ah, there goes a Ring of Life. When it rains, it pours. Another shark drop. Okay, what is this? I have more food than I can hold now. Based off of our starting KC for our Slayer task, looks like we've been through about 60 Dagannoth Kings, so 20 rotations of the 3 bosses so far. Ooh, and there goes our first Dragon Axe between these last couple of days. Fortunately, it's not like we need a Dragon Axe, otherwise that would have been a nice drop. Some more sharks, very nice to see. Oh man. There goes Dragon Axe number 2 of the trip. Well, we're hitting the table, but we're not hitting the right part of the table. We're already over halfway through our task. No luck yet though, unfortunately. Looking at Wait For It's loot tracker here, it looks like I've gone dupe Archer's rings and dupe Berserker rings before. But this was probably a long time ago and I must have dropped them over for some bond money. Sometimes I wish that I never dropped any dupes over, just to see what the bank value on Wait For It would be like. But the trade-off is I've been able to spend GP on bonds for membership, and my normal account is still well geared. But yeah, looking at the KCs and loot tracker over on Wait For It, it looks like we may be due a Seers ring, but it could be quite some time before we get a Berserker's ring. Of course, that's not how RNG works, but based on the numbers, that's what we're looking at. Okay, this is incredibly unfortunate at this point. That is the 3rd Dragon Axe of the trip. And if I'm not mistaken, they've all come from Rex as well. I know at least 2 of them have. We're pretty much out of prayer now, so it looks like I'm going to kill Prime here, and then Rex, and then TP out of here. Surely we get a Seers ring right here into a Berserker, right? Nope. Still have a chance for the Berserker. And the final Rex of the trip, we are going to get a Fremenic Blade. I believe that is actually one of the 1 in 128s. I'm going to take a bit of a break and do the second part of the Dagannoth's task another time. But anyways, I still can't believe For whatever reason, I thought I had an ancient godsword, took out a Zamrock godsword and brought it to the Dagannoth Kings for no reason. I guess for the next trip I could bring Dragon Claws or something. I was getting ready to go back to the Dagannoth Kings on both accounts. However, I looked at the remaining amount of Dagannoths I had left on my task, and it was about 50. Now I thought to myself, I didn't really want to gear up for a trip and then have the task run out midway through. So I decided I'm just going to finish out the task on regular Dagannoths and just hope to either get a back-to-back through the 99 Slayer Cape perk, or simply hunt for another one. It's a win-win situation because, as you know, I'm after the Imbued Heart on this account anyways. Meanwhile, over on 416 Hero, I'm going to be continuing to Barbarian Fish. I really want to get 99 fishing before I hit 99 strength, just for that little bit of macro efficiency. I finished up the Dagannoth task and went back to Duradel. Unfortunately, we didn't get the Cape proc, so our next task now is Bloodvelds. Superior Bloodvelds don't have a great chance at the Imbued Heart, but nevertheless this is a task that has a superior and I'll do it. Mostly because this is a very AFKable task in the Catacombs of Karen with a Venator bow. The Venator bow is honestly game changing. I think without it I wouldn't bother to go for the Imbued Heart at all. Just finished the Bloodvelds task. What are we going to get next? 67 Sukwas? That's a skip. Dust Devils. Now I should barrage them, but I'm kind of lazy, so I'm going to Venator bow them instead. Didn't really have to switch anything in our setup. We just brought our Bone Crusher instead of the Ash Sanctifier. Also, I'm pretty indifferent about this task, so I'm neither using Expeditious Bracelets or Slaughter Bracelets. We're just going to camp the Zarite Vambraces. Okay, two things. For one thing, I can't believe I haven't had a superior spawn in my last two tasks. After completing elite combat achievements, they should be about 1 in 150. And between the Bloodveld task and now this Dust Devils task, I'm probably closer to 300 KC on task. Where are the superiors? Second of all, I also can't believe that my Bone Crusher is out of charges. Yep, it is official. I went through the entire Dust Devils task without a superior. Let's see what we get next. Spiritual creatures. That is 100% a skip. Honestly, I might have to take a look at my block task list here and maybe swap out a few things. I don't know. I haven't really looked at this in a while. While this is not a Dagannoth task, this is definitely a task I want. And it's a big one too. 181 Smoke Devils. This is 100% a task where you want to use Bracelet of Slaughters for, and up until Araxites and Araxor was released, this was by far the best task to do on an Imbued Heart grind. And right away, or pretty much right away, we get a Nuclear Smoke Devil. Alright, here we go. Now I brought my Tumikin's Shadow with me because I just want to kill only the Nuclear Smoke Devil. That way I save KC on my Slayer task. And we get... Wow, that has got to be the worst. Okay, I know it would have been a double clue drop. I know we've never really mentioned clues in this series, and there's a reason why. I'm just not a big clue doer. Especially now on a second account in the same GIM group, I feel even less inclined to do clues. Obviously, back on Wait For It, I did do a decent amount of clues. At least enough to get me what I needed, you know? Like God D'hide, the Ranger Boots, and whatnot. Speaking of Ranger Boots, I should start doing mediums again because that is something I'll need on 416 Hero. So pure number 2 on the task. And we are going to get Disappointment. That's what we're getting. No way, a third superior. Third time's the charm, come on. And our task is pretty much done too, so let's wrap this up on a high note, come on. And we get a Rune Full Helm. And our next task is Bloodvelds again. And we got ourselves our first Thickveld. I think a long time ago back on my normal account, I actually did get an imbued heart off of a superior blood veld. Unfortunately, it looks like we're not getting that this time around. Next task. Ooh. We're gonna pick Zuck here and let's see what happens. If you don't hear from me, it means I choked. I accidentally got an Infernal Cape, and here's what I mean. I've been doing Slayer to try and pick up a Dagannoth task for the last few days now. The original goal was to dolo the Dagannoth Kings so that my Pure can get all the rings. I thought, hey, a task doesn't seem to be too rare, let me go get another one before I go back. Well, here I am, slaying, and then came the Zuck task. No, I definitely do not want to do another Addy Dragons task. I kind of don't want to do Cuirass either, I don't know. Aberrant Spectres. I mean, I guess they do have a superior. I'll do the Deviants with the T-bow in the Catacombs. Not even a superior from that task. Calphites. Skip. Dark Beast, we can knock that out real quick. Middle of an Abbey Demon's task right now, and we just got a superior. Let's see what we're gonna get. Dark Totem Base. Just 36 more KC to go on task, and one more superior. Dark Totem Top. About to wrap up this task here. Unfortunately, no heart from the two superiors we got. Our consolation prize, though, is one Abyssal Whip. A Necreal's task. This is kind of a task we want. We got ourselves another superior. And nothing, as per usual. Ooh, and a little while later, still on the same task, another superior. If I'm not mistaken, I think superior Necreals do have a decent rate at the heart. Or for the heart, rather. Unfortunately, nothing. Gargoyles? I think I can use my new Inquisitor's Mace for this. This is the first real chance I've gotten to use my Inquisitor's Mace. Now, it'd be so much more awesome if I had a full Inquisitor set. But we don't right now, but maybe someday we will. I can't believe it's actually taking this long to get another dagannoth task. I don't even think it's low weight. I think it's on the higher end, actually. Superior Gargoyle. Now, these ones have a little bit more mechanics to them, but nothing too difficult. Just gotta dodge that big orb and protect range, pretty much. I was really hoping for something there. Second superior of the task. We got ourselves another superior at Abbey Demons. 7th superior on the day. Surely that means good luck. And disappointment every time. A second one spawned almost right away after I finished that first one. So every time you kill a superior in the Catacombs of Karen, I think you're guaranteed a Dark Totem piece. And I think, what? Third superior this task. Anyways, I haven't done a whole lot of Scatizos, so I probably have a lot of these totems in my bank. Show me something good. I'm feeling it. Nope. At least with that, I was able to clear up my inventory a little bit by making a whole Dark Totem key in one trip. And then we just get another piece. What is going on? The RNG is just going off right now. The 4th superior of the task. And we're only like 80 kills in. Okay, we're getting a lot of rolls here, right? A lot of RNG rolls. So surely at some point, we're going to hit the right thing. Unfortunately, same story. At this rate, we're going to have a second complete Dark Totem by the end of this task. After countless tasks, we finally picked up another dagannoth task. Albeit, I think this is on the smaller side, only at 134. For full transparency, I've already done the Inferno attempt, which is what you're about to see next. But picking up this dagannoth task, we're going to get started with this on the next video. And I think since it's taken me so long to pick up this task again, if we don't finish the rings within this task, I think I'm going to continue off task, as getting this task took longer than I expected. Because, you know, there was that whole weird GIM restriction thing because 416 Hero is not part of the original team and was added later. However, recently I made the realization that that restriction was only over an initial 5-week period. What this means is 416 Hero now has unrestricted access to any items in the game. Of course, level requirements still hold true, but at 89 range, we can now equip a twisted bow. Wow, this level crept up on me. 92 farming, halfway to 99, as you know. We've finally made it back to the Dagannoth Kings. It is the weekend, so I did have to hop a few worlds, but let's hop in. Actually, before we do that, hot chair, of course. Let's get in there. Nice and easy. Oh, I didn't even have my Necklace of Anguish on. Let's get in there with 416 Hero. And we're set up. So, like I said before, even if we don't get the rings within this task, we're going to continue off task until we do. I've got some big things planned after this, so I want to get this done as soon as we can. Besides, hunting for the Dagannoth task has drawn out longer than I expected, and I'm ready to move on. First item on the table this trip, another Dragon Axe. For this trip, I decided to bring a Sanguinesti staff on, wait for it, so that I can heal up. This is because I traded over the Saradomin Godsword to 416 Hero. And now, after that supreme kill, 416 Hero is on the board for at least 1 KC in the trip. I was actually praying the wrong thing against Supreme, and now I'm low HP and out of food, so hopefully some food drops soon. Alright, I got the SGS spec up, please hit big, and we hit 0. That's not what you want to see. I'm 10 HP, no food. I did drop a Karam one. Over here, I'm going to rush to get it. We're still alive for now. No! I'm not sure why I was taking so much damage there. And on top of that, I don't know why the spawn times are so close together between the Supreme and the Prime. And of course, the game trolls me by giving me a food drop immediately after I die. I think what I'm going to try to do is get back on 416 Hero without leaving on, wait for it. Okay, yeah, the game is really trolling now. Another shark drop. Okay, I was able to have somebody help me open the gate and do the Rune Throne Axe spec as well to get the door supports down. All I have to do is make sure I enter the room at the right time. Otherwise, I could just waste a whole lot of time and die again. I am naked right now, so I don't have any defense as is. Never mind the 50 defense. Look, I'm getting shredded by these Dagannoths. Okay, we have made it back. Grabbing our stuff. But yeah, I guess the silver lining is this is kind of a resupply run. And now we can stay here longer. Okay, you can't make this up. I just died on my maxed account. So I'm going to have to stand out here and wait for it to return, because I'm not going to be able to solo Dagannoth Kings on that account, much less juggle it while running back on the other account. Honestly, I'm not sure what's going on. I haven't had this issue before on the previous, I don't know, 3-4 trips that I've doloed. No way. You can't make this up. I was trying to pick up my stuff off the ground, off the gravestone, and I was flicking for my life, all 3 Dagannoth Kings. And then all of a sudden in my house, there's just a whole lot of yapping going on. It was really hard to focus, and I died again. Truly tragic. Okay, attempt number 2. Half the food I brought in is already gone from just running through the tunnels. This is unfortunate. That is not where my gear is. I need to go for my gear first, which is all the way on the other side. I think right now the positionings of the kings are actually a little humble. They haven't seen me yet. Yeah, this is very humble. Much better than the first time around. Let's just grab all our stuff. Okay. Let's go ahead and get rid of Rex. I want to say we have things under control now, but I don't want to speak too soon. Our inventory is an absolute mess. Okay, let's... Oh! Well, scuff equals stuff. Let's go! Huge! Okay. Picked up the ring. Let's pick up our gear and our loot. Where's my quiver? Oh, I have it on. I just needed to equip the ammo. Okay. As soon as I kill Prime here, I'm going to enter with 416 hero. Okay. The inventory is a mess, but here we go. And after this, we have about a 20-second window to try and organize things as best as we can. I'm going to drop some food. Let's take this prayer pot. Let's get 416 hero in a safe position and ready for Rex. Those things won't despawn. It'll be fine. I can pick those up later. Let's just try to stay in rotation here and organize our inventory. Pot share some prayer because we're low. I'm actually going to have to drop some prayer pots over from 416 hero to wait for it. All right, everything is fine now. We have the Berserker ring. Perfect example of scuff equals stuff right there. Okay, at the very least now, I've offsetted the Dagannoth Kings to some extent. Our inventory is a little bit better organized, at least with our weapons and gear. Dagannoth Kings is definitely one of the places where everything is fine and it's easy until it isn't. So it should be to nobody's surprise, but to be honest, the deaths were mostly my own doing. I haven't been too disciplined on where I'm positioning my accounts, and as you saw just right there, Supreme was up, but he was out of range while I was dealing with Prime. Beforehand, I've been standing mostly next to the ladder, but that's honestly a bad position because when you stand here in this area, you're more than likely going to receive aggro from both of them. Now, if I was here on just one account, I could very easily manage to flick them both, but clearly with two accounts here, that is a different story. In a rush to get back here as soon as possible, I brought some anglerfish on wait for it. Right now, they're in 416 Hero's inventory, and for 416 Hero, using these isn't actually that optimal. They only heal me for about 17 each. But hey, food is food, and I desperately need to just safe up right now with the anglers. Hopefully we get a food drop soon. Over on wait for it, honestly, the Sanguinesi staff has been holding me over. Perhaps in me saying that, I might have just cursed it, because now I'm 19 health and I desperately need some Sang procs right now. Please. No? I guess not. Oh, 7 HP. Better than nothing. I'm once again completely out of food on both accounts, so this could get risky. I'm down to 12 HP on 416 here. I might have to get out of here. Save myself the pain of having to run back here just to get my stuff. I'm going to pick up these prayer pots and TP out on 416 hero. Before I teleport out on wait for it as well, let's finish off Supreme. And maybe, just maybe, we'll get an archer's ring before we head out. And nope. Okay, we are recollecting ourselves at the Warriors Guild. And this is the perfect time to trade over the Berserker ring. Just put it on, and this is absolutely massive for the account. Definitely gives us a new max hit on any setup. So midway through this Dagannoth King's grind, I realized that 416 Hero was able to use the Sarah Dome and Godsword, despite us obviously never having gone to any of the God Wars dungeon bosses. And this was confusing to me because, you know, there was that whole weird GIM restriction thing because 416 Hero is not part of the original team and was added later. However, recently I made the realization that that restriction was only over an initial 5-week period. What this means is 416 Hero now has unrestricted access to any items in the game. Of course, level requirements still hold true, but at 89 range, we can now equip a twisted bow. With that being said, things are going to get real wacky from this point on. But like I said in the past, I'm going to try to balance some sense of progression as well as just giving myself things when I want to. However, I have big plans for suddenly having the ability to use these mega rares. For right now though, our goal is to still complete these rings. Right now we are 1 out of 3, so we finally made some progress. Now we just need the archers and the seers ring. I'm just taking a bit of a breather right now before we go back in, but it's, if it wasn't obvious, doloing Dagannoth Kings actually just makes it more complicated than if I was to solo on Wait For It. But at least when I dolo and bring 416 Hero with me, it feels like I'm somewhat earning it on 416 Hero, and perhaps the trips are a little bit longer too. I just made the realization that I don't need Rune Throne Axes if I just put Wait For It into this room by going down the ladder and then just meleeing the door support. Except I forgot the fact that these doors need 2 people to go through, so not that smart actually, never mind. Or maybe I just opened the door from the other side. Okay, so between the trips, I made it a point to make the adjustment to swap onto the Ancient Spellbook on 416 Hero. This is so that I can ice, or Blood Blitz to heal up. So despite having the Berserker ring that we need now, I'm going to go ahead and continue fighting Dagannoth Rex anyways. Just because, you know, there's just downtime. What are we going to do? Just stand there and do nothing, you know? Might as well. No shot. Another Berserker ring. That's not what we need, but we'll take it. It's like 5 mil. In a twist of fate, I have more food than I can hold now on this trip. Just got a dupe circle, so 1 for each account, I guess. Unfortunately, with this Rex KC, we are now off task. What I'm going to do is I'm going to stay here as long as I can until I run out of supplies, and then afterwards, I'm going to put on the max cape and see if I can get the back-to-back Slayer proc. If we don't get it, oh well, we'll just come back without the task, but it's worth a shot. I know we've gone 2 Berserker rings now, but I can't believe I haven't got a Seers ring. We're very lucky on Berserker rings right now and very dry on the Seers ring. Over on Wait For It, in 389 Prime KC, plus whatever 416 Hero might have, which is probably less than 10, we only have 1 Seers ring. Ooh, we were able to snag 25 KC of Dagannoth Supreme on 416 Hero, which means a hard combat task. Dagannoth Supreme Adept completed. Nice. Bit more CA points there. Ooh, we actually get a collection log on 416 Hero. Unfortunately, it's a Dragon Axe. I decided to end that trip with just 2 prayer doses remaining. Now let's see if we can proc the back-to-back. Unfortunately not. 193 cal fights. You know what? This is a task I would typically skip anyways. So, now that one I'm not skipping. 16 Black Dragons. Now part of me wants to say, hey, I can knock that out super quickly and pick up another task, but that's just going to go down a rabbit hole, and before you know it, I'm just going to be doing Slayer for like the next 3 days again. 416 Hero is already there and waiting. We just have to run in, fully supplied now, and set up the room. The rotation is a little different right now. Looks like we're doing Rex into Supreme into Prime, whereas previously we've been doing it the complete other direction. We're getting food drops nice and early in the trip, which is actually a little unfortunate because playing on 2 accounts, I'm not really going to spend that mental energy to juggle food. Playing on 2 accounts PVMing at once is hard enough in itself. Actually, I'm going to purposely wait for Prime to respawn and then fight Prime first before Supreme. I think it's just safer that way. Having been here for literal hours in one sitting. Oh, I don't have pre-melee on. But yeah, having been here for quite some time now, I like to compare this to God Wars dungeons, and there goes another Dragon Axe. Unfortunate. That was from Rex anyways, and it's not like we needed a 3rd Berserker ring at this point, so I guess that's not the worst. But yeah, I'd like to make the comparison of Dagannoth Kings to God Wars dungeon bosses. Having to sit around and wait for the boss to respawn is just really boring. I really wouldn't be a fresh new solo Ironman at this point, having to stand on this yellow marked tile over here in the corner of the room and just safe spotting Rex and waiting for it to respawn. I think at this point, the novelty of doloing Dagannoth Kings has worn itself out. I'm kind of over it at this point. In my mind, I thought this was going to be a relatively quick grind, especially having gone through all these endgame grinds that literally take months on end, right? So I guess with the expectation that I thought this would be quick, this now feels like it's dragging on. Hopefully, we get a little lucky soon. And not from Rex again. We don't need any more luck at Rex. Part of the whole Dolo Trust Fund GIM gimmick was that if I wasn't enjoying a grind, I would just be able to give myself stuff. But this is one of the exceptions. I need these rings. I don't have dupes. It's tragic. No, not like this. A dragon axe from Prime. Second one of the trip. This trip is really something else right now. I have a crystal key and 2 loop halves on wait for it. And over on 416 Hero, I have a crystal key as well. Oof, we get a Farseer helm. Oh, and looks like we're making the third on wait for it, but 4th overall between the 2 accounts. 4 crystal keys. No! Why? And that concludes the second trip. No death shenanigans this time around. We got yet another Berserker ring. The 3rd one so far. Well, I can say I got 3 rings, but unfortunately, it's 3 of the same ones. Just gained a Slayer level off an EXP lamp. Nice. 59 Slayer. Time to get set up for yet another trip. Surely this will work out. Oh my, I was praying melee. I must have misclicked. And of course I have to die on the account that takes 10 years to get the Dagannoth Kings. I'm still standing here in the Lumbridge basement while I'm currently soloing on wait for it. And I'm not gonna lie, I really don't want to make the effort to go back on this account. The thing about it is not only do I have to do the long run through, but I need to teleport out with the other account to escort it through as well. So essentially I'd be making multiple trips just to get set up again. The mental just can't handle it. I'm collecting from the gravestone. How much is this going to cost me? Oh, 300k? Okay. That's fine with me, 300k. So with that having happened, I guess I'm going to be soloing on this account now. I think ironically soloing the Dagannoth Kings is a little bit more engaging because I'm actually flicking my prayers. Another circle, that is the 3rd one. Seems like Prime and Supreme are dropping everything but the rings. Well, if I'm not going back to the Dagannoth Kings on 416 Hero, I might as well try to make some gains elsewhere. But back at Dagannoth Kings, we just hit 500 Rex KC. Although Rex is completely irrelevant to us at this point in time. Maybe if it gives us a pet, I don't know. And there goes another Dragon Axe, this time from Prime. I guess another thing to add is that without making 416 Hero, I never would have came back to Dagannoth Kings anyways. Pet hunting isn't something that particularly interests me, so I definitely wouldn't have came back. But now that I'm here, at least I get to experience using max gear to kill Dagannoth Kings. I said I wouldn't go after a new Slayer task, but let's just see what happens, yeah? Nope, not doing trolls. Necrills? That's a big task. We're not doing Slayer to pick up another task. We're just going to sit on that Necrills task for a bit. We're going back to the Dagannoth Kings. This time, we're a little bit more optimized when it comes to our gear setup and inventory. We are now on the Arceus spellbook, so that we can use Thralls and Death Charge. I've brought the Ceridome and Godsword back over from 416 Hero to this account, and we're bringing Dragon Claws whenever we can use them. In classic fashion, I made my way to the Dagannoth Kings, and I forgot something. My Book of the Dead, so I can't even summon Thralls right now. At least I can still use Death Charge, though. I've lost track of how many Dragon Axes there's been. Oh my, right after the Dragon Axe, it happened. We got our Seers ring. Yes. I don't even have inventory space for this. What's crazy is that's only our second ever Sears ring. Now we only need the Archer's ring. This is a little while later after pulling that Sears ring. I'm now back for another trip to hopefully get the Archer's ring on this next trip. Over on 416 Hero, we're still at the Ammonite Crabs, except now I've swapped over to some strength training. This time around, I remembered to bring my Book of the Dead. However, there's always something. I forgot death runes. So there's no death charge for us this time around. This is why bank tag layouts and inventory setup plugins are so useful. I haven't had one set up for Dagannoth Kings. No way we get another Sears ring. Honestly, that is due, so I can't be too mad about that. But that's not the ring we're looking for. Are these things even clip worthy anymore? I don't know. Another Dragon Axe. That was from Supreme too, which we need the ring roll for specifically, the Archer's ring. Huh. This is like my, what, 4th Seer call now? I make note of that because up until coming back with 416 here to Dolo Dagannoth Kings, I apparently never had one beforehand, and now we have like 4, so what a turn of events. Heading back for another trip right now. This time around, I decided to bring my Torva top and legs. And yes, I don't have death runes for death charge, but this time it was on purpose. I decided that I'm not going to need death charge. The light bearer I'm wearing is more than enough. This was actually the freest entry into the DK's room. I didn't even have to flick Supreme and Prime. Although Rex has now creeped his way all the way over here though, so I'm gonna have to flick this. The Echo Boots are a really nice contrast to the Blood Torva. Check it out. Hopefully I remember to fit this into the clip, but I didn't get it on OBS, but I do have Shadow Play, which clips, you know, the previous couple of minutes. And I just hit a max scythe swing. And there goes another Dragon Axe. There it is, an Archer's ring. We are done. Let's go. I need to clear up some room, pick up the bat, or eat the bass, pick up the ring, and let's get out of here. We are done. 416 here is currently Ammonite Crab training away right now. So I'll hand over the last ring, the Archer's ring, a little bit later. But yes, we are done. Obviously, there are a lot of things we can work on, but I have some big things coming up. Some big goals that hopefully we can achieve. There's no guarantee, but we will just have to see.